Alright, this video is going to be talking about how you're going to get shredded in the next 5 weeks for summer. And obviously take that with a grain of salt. I'm not saying you're going to be absolutely diced in 5 weeks because it all depends on where your starting point is. But if you're pretty obese and you were to start now, in the next 5 weeks, regardless of where you're starting from, you're going to see some noticeable results. As long as you follow each and every one of these rules, I will guarantee you're going to see results. Starting with the first one, and that's just simply eating more protein. And the rule of thumb is 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. So if you weigh 200 pounds, you should have 200 grams of protein at least, or at least around there somewhere. And then the next biggest thing, which should really be the thing you start with, and that's going on TDEE calculator. And what that is total daily energy expenditure. So that'll tell you exactly how many calories you burn a day based on your activity level. And I suggest going one under what you would assume, because it gives you different levels. You could do lightly active, or there's moderately active, and then obviously like highly active. Just do whichever is most like you and go one under. So for me, I work out 7 days a week, just because I don't think you should do that, but just because I like it. So I would still say I'm moderately active compared to someone who might consider that highly active, whatever. So yeah, just go one step under what you would assume you are. And then once it spits out that calories amount, just subtract 500 from that amount, and that'll be your deficit. I wouldn't go too far over 500 for your deficit, because anything too aggressive is not sustainable. And if you want to do it for just a short period of time, like if you're just cutting for like a week, then sure, do like 750 to 1,000 less. But it's going to be rough if you do that. So I would suggest with just 500. And then you're probably thinking, so now I know how many calories I need to eat. What do I do with that information? And what you're going to need to do, and this is the part where everyone seems to fail and fall off and lose any sort of motivation to do it, but you have to track your calories, especially in the beginning, because people misdiagnose how much they're actually eating by a very large percent. So if you were to just try to guess and track, then you're not going to be guessing correctly. I used to do this all the time when I first started taking it serious. I thought I was doing good by tracking my calories, but I would just eyeball it. What I would assume is 5 ounces was more like 7 ounces and whatnot. So yeah, don't eyeball it. You need to get a food scale. The food scale is the best tool that's going to help you burn off that fat and keep it off. And I'm telling you, it's not even that bad. It becomes like a game. If you treat it like a game, it becomes so much easier. You're just tracking what you eat, making sure you stay under your budget for the day of calories. It's actually pretty fun, and it's not that bad. It's just the idea of it that makes it bad. It's not actually doing it, because once you begin to do it, you get used to it, and after so long, you might not even need to do it anymore. I still do it because I have like OCD about it now. If I don't track my calories, I feel wrong, and I feel like I just did something really bad, which is probably not a good thing. But once you do it for so long, you'll have a much better idea of how much food you're actually eating and what the calories probably is, and you'll understand your body way more. So you'll know, just based off of how you feel, typically if you're in a deficit or not, which is obviously just being hungry. But yeah. And a lot of you might have heard of the 80-20 rule. I believe in this too as well. So 80% of your foods should be whole foods. One ingredient foods that are God-given foods, whether you believe in that or not, but just natural foods that don't have a bunch of ingredients. And then 20% of the time you can have those things that are not whole foods, but still stick in your calorie range. Because the whole foods is going to be what keeps your testosterone high and really makes you see progress, because a scoop of protein powder versus a chicken breast is not the same. Even if the protein amount is the same, it's not the same quality of protein, which makes a huge difference. And then on to the next thing, and that's just hitting at least 10,000 steps a day, which is another thing that people hear and they just feel like it's so much. It's really not that much. And especially that it's getting nicer out for summer, it makes it so much easier, just pop in some headphones, listen to a podcast, listen to music, listen to anything that keeps your mind busy, and literally just like become delusional, start daydreaming about what these steps will do for you in the summer and how you would look. You could either be the fat friend or you're going to be that dude that's absolutely shredded and turns heads like crazy. So yeah, 10,000 steps is not that hard, and if you can get more, that's even better. Getting on the treadmill, but I think the best way is just going outside and actually enjoying the nature if it's nice out, rather than the treadmill, because the treadmill you just feel like a hamster, and it's not as enjoyable as compared to going outside. And the fresh air is just good for you. So pop in those headphones, just go on walks. You can do them in little intervals. It's not so bad that way. I even found myself, if it's raining outside, I'll go into like Walmart, Target, just a random store, the mall even, and I'll pop in my headphones and just start walking through every store, every aisle, just to rack in those extra steps every single day. That's what I'm saying. It's just like a game. You have objectives every time you wake up, so it gives you more purpose throughout the day when you're having steps to meet, calories to meet. And at the end of the day, you're going to live a lot less stress if you do these things, because if you were to not do them and know you were supposed to do them, that's what's going to make you feel stressed. And obviously stress is another factor of all this. If you're stressed, you have high cortisol, that's going to trigger fat. So stay away from that. Don't be stressed out. And then I'll put in here too, this is exactly what I eat on a day-to-day basis that has got me the most shredded I've ever been in my entire life. And you can copy this or you cannot. This is just what works for me, so it might work for you, it might not. Especially if you can't eat the same thing every day, then you're not going to like this. But what I eat every single day for lunch and dinner, 80% of the time, going back to the 80-20, I have around 3 whole eggs, and then I get those cartons of egg whites, and I'll weigh out 200 grams of egg whites. I'll whisk all that together, and then I'll have those frozen spinach bags. I'll crack one of those frozen spinach bags open and then just pour it in there, and then I just cover it, let it turn into like a big old pancake, and then put on some turkey bacon as well. And that is my lunch and dinner pretty much every single day. It is depressing, but you have to think about what you want more. Food is just fuel at the end of the day. But yeah, we're getting to the end of the gameplay here. Hopefully this helps you guys out. Let me know down below what you'd like to see next.